welcome to the first episode of the Bang and Her Bag podcast. My name is Andrea Williams. I am your trusted personal safety consultant, and this is my podcast. I am so happy that you decided to join me today. So, I guess what we need to talk about is who I am. I mean, there's probably so many people that have podcasts that you may listen to. So I will break it down. Like many of you who are tuned in, I am a wife, a mother, a gram, and a family woman. I am a good friend. I am also a military veteran. I served in the United States Army, starting my military career in the Army Reserves, and then transitioned into regular active duty. And so currently, I am a personal safety consultant, and I am the owner of Silhouettes Firearms Training, which is evolving to Silhouettes Personal Safety and Defense Academy. So we have been in existence for the past 3 years. And so I decided to get into personal safety consultant because my time as a credentialed firearms instructor said that there was a lack of education and training and the other use of force personal defense tools. And so in recognizing that everyone is not about having a gun, but they want other means to protect themselves, I decided to encompass all of me. So I am a USCCA credentialed firearms instructor. I am also an NRA credentialed firearms instructor and a USCCA training counselor, which just means that I am able to credential future firearms instructors. And so in those particular roles in the business, why we transitioned to a defense academy is because it is very important for people to have that education and training on the levels of force. It's not just the gun. As a matter of fact, when we're speaking to the levels of force, we're speaking to also the power of you being situationally aware. We're also speaking to the power of your voice, the power of your presence. And so at Silhouettes, certainly we want to teach that, but we have started out with firearms training, and so that is my baby, and that is what I enjoy doing. I have a team of people that work with me. We have 3 range safety officers because safety is the priority there. And we have just welcomed another credentialed instructor onto the team. And so the expertise is there, as well as the caring nature to be able to get people through. You know, what I have understood on this journey is that everyone is not comfortable. And so when I say comfortable, that means that they're not comfortable with themselves in having the knowledge, having the expertise of what they're doing with personal defense tools. So whether that is the gun, whether that is pepper spray, whether that is using your voice, people aren't comfortable with that. And so at Silhouettes, we take pride in working with people. Certainly, I do believe in crawl, walk, run. And that is crawling through. That means that we are getting the training through a lectureship. We are understanding what to do and then demonstrating. We have no problem with demonstrating what those personal defense tools look like and how they should be safely and properly used. And then making sure that you show us what we have taught you. Everybody's minds processes information differently. And so certainly we want to make sure that we capture as much as we can with our students and our clients at Silhouettes. And speaking of Silhouettes, I also am a CEO of Blazing Beauty's nonprofit organization, and we have been in existence since 2015, and our mission is about girls and women's empowerment. And so we are able to do that through providing means for our girls to be able to serve. One of our popular programs was the Pampered for Prom, and that's where we take a very deserving young lady who is a senior in high school, and we literally pamper her for prom. And so we enjoy being able to serve the community. My board member is Cheryl Monroe, and she has been instrumental in making sure that the Blazing Beauty's messaging gets out there. And so every role that I have mentioned, yes, I'm a busy woman, but my life's work is what I truly feel it is in Silhouettes. And so when we think about the bang in her bag, I would love to speak about that. So that was a movement. It was intended to be a movement that was started. And of course, it was for women, because what we understand about women, there's a lot of different things that are going on that speak to women and victimhood. And so I will even start by the fact that in human trafficking, women are trafficked. Black women, in particular Black girls, are trafficked, and then there's a true disparity about the way that the criminal justice system sees those victims of human trafficking. The numbers are up for them to be arrested and actually charged with the crime. We're also seeing in the medical field where Black women are dying at higher rates in a labor and delivery environment. So something that we have been able to do as women, this is natural to us, and that is to give birth to children. There are Black women who are dying there, and they're being ignored in those medical facilities where they're saying that something is wrong, and maybe the medical professionals around them are saying that they're exaggerating. And ladies are passing away with that. We're also seeing an uptick in domestic violence situations, in particular when it comes to Black women. And so what we're seeing is not just someone who is fighting with their partner or someone who, no, we're actually seeing murders take place. And so this is very alarming. This speaks to, first of all, the education, the training. This also speaks to just the posturing of the woman and how she is being built up in a sense of being in a situation where she doesn't want to be in. She's afraid to be in. And so how is this woman being empowered? And so here with the bang in her bag, why the bang in her bag exists and why it is a movement, because I want you to think about the bag. I want you to think about, how we will secure the bag. We fumble the bag. Sometimes we're able to carry the bag because we're carrying loads, right? And sometimes that bag is very heavy. So when we're thinking of a bag, we're thinking of that particular possession. What I'm asking you to consider is, what if the bag is you? What if the bang is your determination, your spirit, how you choose to advocate for yourself and deal with adversity? So when I think of the bang in her bag, I am thinking about that will that the woman has and what is in you, what is already in you. I'm here to tell you that every single personal defense tool that you have is already within you. And so what we're tapping into is that will and that determination, that spirit, that can-do spirit that each woman possesses. And this is something that is very important. And this is where the bang in her bag movement has started. All right? Because here's the thing, ladies, we don't have it all together. We just don't. And even though I may be up here on this podcast and I'm looking good, that doesn't mean that I have it all together. However, what we do is come together, we unite to uplift one another and empower one another. And so the bang in her bag is focused on the self-protection and empowerment. It is also focused on your mental wellness, your physical wellness, and your spiritual readiness. Now, let's just dive into that spiritual side. We all know that there are different faiths. We know that people have different religions. There are people who don't have any sort of faith with them at all. They don't believe in anything. And this is okay. What I'm speaking to is the spirit of knowing that you can do something. This is what I'm speaking to. And if you believe that there is something greater in the universe than you, then we're speaking to that as well. We're enhancing that. And so with the bang in her bag, it's a movement, not a moment. And as with all movements, it takes time for it to gain traction. So this is where we're at with the podcast. This podcast allows me to put out the message about the bang in her bag. And this is going to be my life's work. I already know. This is about empowering women for them to understand that you must be your own hero. You must be in a position to be able to protect yourself. And that does not always mean a human threat. That also means being able to advocate for yourself in those medical facilities, being able to stand up for yourself when people are speaking against you. It is about developing a courage about yourself. It is about having a voice. And we're here to help that along in this particular podcast. And so I am very excited about this. And there are going to be many messages. Some you may agree with. It may resonate with you. And some may not. And that's okay too. But this podcast is for everyone, and that includes even the gentlemen who choose to tune in. Because guess what? It is my belief that you have a wife, a mother, a sister, a daughter, a woman that maybe you care about. And so it is very important for you to be able to know how to support your woman, the person who you love, your loved one, to encourage them to take their personal safety seriously. Now, I want people to take their personal safety so seriously, especially the ladies, that they are not fear-mongered. They are not overcome by fear and just walking around like scaredy cats. But I want them to think about their safety the way that they think about putting on their wigs every day and putting on that makeup. Like, I want it to be a part of routine, everyday routine, because every day you deserve to be protected. But here's what we understand is that sometimes help isn't coming your way. You have to be in a position to be able to defend yourself. You have to be in a position to be able to stand up for yourself. You have to be in a position to be able to watch your own back. One of my taglines is be your own hero. And this is what we encourage. And yes, you absolutely can and should be your own hero. And then you're able to pass on that spirit to your sons and daughters. And that's what's important, because they deserve to be protected as well. And so that's the mindset that we want to get into. Now, a lot of times people wonder, whoa, how in the world did you even get started in this direction? And so, of course, I do have a story to tell. And so, it was 2020 and there was a lot going on. I mean, y'all remember, it's not so long ago that COVID hit. COVID shut things down. And then we as a nation, as a world, we were able to see tragedies unfold. And the tragedies that were very impactful were Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. And in particular with George Floyd, we witnessed something that we've seen before, but not quite like that. And seeing this shook me to the core as well as my family. Now, my side note is I've always been locked in. Shout out to my mother, who definitely made sure that, we were very aware of the injustices and the criminal behavior of people that are supposed to represent us and to serve and protect. And so I'm just being honest there. But what moved me initially, even though I had seen this all of my life, has to be Trayvon Martin. And to see what occurred with him. Years later, now we're coming up on 2020, and to see where our nation was, to watch how George Floyd passed away right in front of our cameras, right in front of our eyes, it was something that was very traumatizing. And I remember not feeling like I could protect myself or my loved ones. I remember feeling so violated and unable to protect my family. And I'm saying that as a United States Army veteran. And so this compelled me to want to get more training. And I will tell you that when I went to a firearms training class. I was able to see a sister girl. It was 2 of them. And I was just like in awe. Like, y'all remember on the Chappelle show when old boy was talking about the first time that he saw Rick James? And there was an aura behind him, and that's how I felt seeing those queens. And the lead instructor let us know that, hey, if you want to become an instructor, you know, here's the blueprint. Here's what you have to do. And I was just like, do you think that I could do it? And she was like, yes. And that set me on my journey to be able to become a credentialed firearms instructor. And that's where I earned my NRA firearms instructor credential, and then followed up with the USCCA firearms instructor credential as well. And so when I decided about Silhouettes, I said it was Silhouettes Firearms Training. I just knew that representation mattered, and I knew that I wanted to provide a safe space for everyone, but especially women, to come and to learn about firearms. Years later, as I have evolved as a firearms instructor and now a personal safety consultant, the deal is that I understand that it's about more than the gun. It's about the person. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that a lot of people come into Silhouettes and they are traumatized. They are scared, but they want to fight through it. But they realize that the gun is not for them. And so what's left for them? Well, that doesn't mean that you're out here willy-nilly. There's plenty of other options. 1, being able to be situationally aware. 2, being able to have a plan to prepare for things. What is your plan? And so when we're able to really have those conversations, we're able to see that there's a lacking in other areas. My goal, my objective is never to just put a gun in everyone's hands and it's guns, guns, guns. No. What about you, sis? Are you good? Are you okay? What's really going on with you? And as a personal safety consultant, how can I help you to be more vigilant? How can I help you to feel empowered? And so this is the work that I've chosen. Many different coaches, they're business coaches or they're fitness coaches. I am a personal safety consultant, and I coach and empower others to individually, with their families and with their business, take up a defensive posturing. And I love this work. I do this day in and day out. This is my 9 to 5. So this is what I do. This is what I'm dedicated in doing. And so this is why Silhouettes Personal Safety and Defense Academy exists. And this is why the Bang in Her Bag podcast and the movement exist. So I hope that you have stuck with me for these minutes. You have listened to me talk. You have felt it in your spirit. It just sizzled in your spirit. I hope that you were able to get something out of this. Again, my name is Andrea Williams. I am your trusted personal safety consultant. And this is my first episode for the Bang in Her Bag podcast. I appreciate you joining me. Join us next week as we dive into mental health and how good mental health fits into our personal defense tools and the options that we have. And when our mental health is not good, what can we do? What should we do when we have access to these tools? And also, how can you support those that you know have these personal defense tools? Again, it was so great talking to you, and I hope that you enjoyed our first episode. Take care. Yeah.